Enjoying the lightning talks? It's awesome. It's good. I can talk. Isn't that cool? Thank you, everybody, for helping me talk. My lightning talk is going to be a slightly different style, inspired by all the ones you've heard before, perhaps. It's a cautionary tale. It's a true story. This was a software company in Montreal, Canada. They were in the payroll software business. They worked with small enterprises. The project in hand was a migration from an IBM AS400 payroll system to a multi-tier web IBM AIX platform with all this cool WebSphere technologies and stuff like that. The company went to a local university, not McGill, Sherbrooke actually, university, and they hired 3 young whippersnapper Java programmers, and these kids were wonderful. They could program like the wind. They were awesome, and they were fast, and they were cool, and they loved what they were doing, and they loved the tools. They loved JUnit, and they sort of thought they liked TDD. So what they did is they went into this payroll company and started coding and coding and coding and coding, and management was excited. They were psyched because these people were using an approach which was showing them how many passing unit tests they had. And every day as the project progressed more and more and more, there was this beautiful graph showing progress. Management had never seen anything like that before. Wow, it's working, progress, wow, 100 unit tests, 1,000 unit tests, 10,000 unit tests, 15,000 unit tests, wow. And suddenly one of the managers sort of suggested, hey, where's the payroll transactions? You know, what's going on here? And he came and he took a 3-day course of mine on systematic software testing, etc., and asked me to come and take a look at this. And so he was concerned because he had all of these young whippersnappers programming like the wind with all these passing unit tests, but he was uncomfortable because he didn't see any payroll transactions. So I went in there and took a look under the hood. The point was to sort of estimate how much consulting time it would take. I went in there and it took about 43 seconds for me to come to the conclusion that these developers had been writing tests to demonstrate that the code they wrote did what they coded it to do. And I don't know, there's usually a chuckle when I say that, but every single one of these unit tests was a self-fulfilling prophecy. It was basically suggesting that, hey, this is what we're designing, this is what we're coding, does the code do what we programmed it to do? Yay, okay, let's move on. And there was not one test there that was in any way, shape, or form business-facing or transactional in nature. It was all structural. It ended up being, in the case of the payroll company that I was commissioned to take a look at, it ended up being that they had created the most robust software I ever saw in my professional career that did not work at all. Now, that's not the sad part of the story. I wish that was the sad part of the story, but the sad part of the story is I left the office and I realized that I'm not making a cent on this. I didn't even get a sandwich out of this thing. They didn't even give me a couple of tokens to do my laundry. And they didn't even give me a discount on my payroll system. But I did meet some managers there who wanted to do things well and right and wise. And they did take some training with me to learn about it. So I did benefit a little bit from that. And I did pick up a wonderful cautionary tale. So if you want to apply this or a learning of this or a lesson from this, it is that if you're totally focused on structural testing at the unit test level, which is a great thing to do and you should encourage and find all sorts of bugs at that level, that's great. But there should be always a sense of what's the business purpose of this? Some people say do a vertical slice through the software. Some people say do a story test. Some people say model, behavior-driven or acceptance-test-driven. I'm not going to suggest a framework or model. I'm just suggesting that it's not good enough to sort of technically implement the code. It's useful to demonstrate that this is to a purpose. So make sure we have purposeful testing, not just structural testing. And that is my cautionary tale, and I thank you very much.